Historically, slang came from TV shows, pop, hip-hop music, movies, video games. But today, a lot of it comes from the internet, especially social media, which drives the majority of American slang in 2024. So what's bussin' mean then?
Cool kind of thing?
Urban Dictionary says it's what you would say if something was really good. Examples include, those potato chips are bussin', or that booty clap is bussin'.
Drips like fashion, like how you look, accessory kind of thing.
When something is very cool, it can also be used to describe an outfit or accessory, person or a song, etc. And although the origin of the word is debated, most people agree that it first appeared in the Atlanta rap scene. Yes, we are two extremely white, middle-class American men, and Canadian men, North American men, trying to describe these very cool hip words. No need to be shook, because I'm finna introduce a bussin' new episode of Tennis Podcast. It won't be mid, and that's no cap. If you know, you know. Here with me today is one extra bougie son of a bitch named Josh Schell, co-host of the amazing podcast Reddit on Wiki. Josh, how are you doing?
Good. That was the most Gen Z intro I've ever heard.
Oh, that's just how I talk. Sorry, you're not used to that?
I'm not as hip as you, I guess. No.
Well, it's funny that you're here on today's episode. You'll see why in a minute. But if the listeners out there recognize Josh's voice, you might have heard him on his successful, amazing, popular podcast, Reddit on Wiki, but you might also remember him from this show. He was on episode number 175. We covered the top 10 largest cults in history. And since then, one of your co-hosts, John, was on episode 218. I had him guess the top 10 most common memes on the internet.
Oh, that was a good one. John killed it on that one.
And so today, you're going to be a little more John and a little less Josh. So a little more meme and internet, a little less cult and death. Does that suit you okay?
I'll try and pull out my inner pun self and try and enact my John.
I know before we were recording, you were telling me you had, 9 or 10 kids? 11th on the way, I think you said.
Yeah. If cats included in kids, then absolutely.
9 or 10, great. Of course, cats are... yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I ask you that because we're going to speak to the kids out there today. Let me actually back up and say, on your show, Reddit on Wiki, and I'll give you a chance to plug it in a little bit, but on your show, you guys talk a lot about Reddit.
It's our main focus, some say.
Yes, I would say probably your main focus. It's in the name, in fact.
Yeah.
So I think you won't have any problem telling me what AITA stands for.
Yes, that is actually my specialty because I host the Am I the Asshole Friday episodes on Reddit on Wiki.
Yes, highly recommended. And I ask you that because today's episode was inspired by Reddit and just internet culture. Today we're going to be talking about slang.
Ooh.
And a lot of that is internet-based, also not. And I asked you about your kids a minute ago because the list you're going to guess today is based on a survey of parents who listed the slang they most often hear from their teenage children.
Oh my goodness.
And so even though you don't actually have any kids, since you're on Reddit a lot and since you're on the internet a lot, I think you will have no problem guessing these.
I mean, in my real life, I don't have any teenagers that I interact with on a daily basis. So this will be interesting. I'll never feel more old than this episode, I feel.
Teenagers are the worst. You're not missing fucking anything, let me tell you. And also, I feel old. And I think I'm older than you. But I feel old doing the research for this list because I'm like, okay, some of these I've heard. I didn't know it meant that. Some of these I'm familiar with and not familiar with. So we're going to get into it. Let me tee things up here by asking you about the history of slang. What is slang, Josh? Can you tell us in a few words?
I could try. To the best of my knowledge, slang is a word that is used in a different purpose than it was originally meant to, refer to something cool, maybe? I don't know.
Okay.
It can, I guess.
Remind me not to enroll for your college course on slang.
My master class.
Your master class, yeah. According to Wikipedia, slang is a vocabulary of an informal register, common in verbal conversation, but avoided in formal writing. I think what you said is basically true.
That's essentially it. Yeah. My version was the slang version of that.
Right. But it goes on to say that it sometimes refers to language generally exclusive to members of particular in-groups to exclude outsiders. So the word slang itself, came about in the 18th century. And in its earliest use, which was the year 1756, The word slang referred to the vocabulary of low or disreputable people.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it's evolved like all things. It used to be seen as like the language of those people over there, that they're not, they're not in the same class as us. They're not in the same status as us. So they talk different. They talk weird over there. They use slang.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. That I was just confirming that I'm catching up.
Oh, good.
With you.
You agree? You're okay with that definition?
Yeah. I in my master class, that's exactly what we say.
Okay, great. I hope everyone out there is taking notes. Now, by the early 19th century, it was no longer exclusively associated with disreputable people, but continued to be applied to usages below the level of standard educated speech. Now, today, pop culture and youth culture tend to create new slang words and trends. Some last forever, and some are only around for a short time. Historically, slang came from TV shows, pop and hip-hop music, movies, video games. But today, a lot of it comes from the internet, especially social media, which drives the majority of American slang in 2024. So it also says that more than half of Americans use slang in most conversations. And finally, I'm going to tell you about the list. So this is online language learning platform Preply. They released a 2023 survey of the most commonly used slang terms that parents of teenagers are most familiar with. While words like, well, I'm not going to spoil those. I'm going to skip that part. The report surveyed 682 parents with children between the ages of 12 and 18 and found that only 2% knew every slang term on the list. And so today you're going to guess the top 10 that parents in America said they hear most, and then I'll read you the definitions as well. And I also pulled some stats from USA Today, Shorelight.com, WebFX.com, Urban Dictionary, Wikipedia.
All right. That sounds good.
Does my intro make a little more sense to you now when I was saying all that cool stuff?
All that cool stuff that you said.
Yeah.
Fitting in with the in crowd. I like it.
Yeah. So, Josh, when I say slang, especially modern slang, what comes to mind first for you?
I mean, it's got to be Riz, right? It's got to be up there.
I didn't even know what that meant until, you know what it means. What's it mean?
It's short for charisma. So it's someone who, is very likable and stuff like that. I also feel I'm probably butchering that, but
yes, we are two extremely white middle class American men and Canadian men, North American men, trying to describe these very cool hip words. I'll say that a lot of these, it's funny because sometimes you hear these like Riz. I'd heard that word all the time, and I just never bothered to look it up. So I hear it all the time, like, oh yeah, the kids say that. I don't know what it means. It's okay. I don't need to know what it means. You just told me what it means. It's not in the top 10 though, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, not in the top 10.
See, I think the issue...
see it in the top 20, but not the top 10.
I think the issue is any word that I know will already be out of style.
Right?
So that's going to be the issue. So yeah. I could keep guessing. Bussin? Is that in there?
Bussin. I included that in my intro. Bussin is number 7.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
I should have listened to your intro better then.
Let me repeat that intro real quick. Maybe it'll help you. No need to be shook, because I'm finna introduce a bussin' new episode of Tennis Podcast. It won't be mid, and that's no cap. If you know, you know.
I have heard all of those, so yes.
So what's bussin' mean then?
If I had to guess, based on the context I've heard it in, it's like cool kind of thing.
Urban Dictionary says it's what you would say if something was really good.
Okay, so
you're close,
off.
Yeah. Examples include, those potato chips are bussin'. Or, that booty clap is bussin'.
I like the wild range of examples there.
Some are eating potato chips and some are booty clapping, and really good booty clap is bussin' for sure.
Is bussin'. I wonder where that comes from. Do you have the etymology of that word? Okay. I'm interested.
So most of these I don't, but a few I do. It's really hard sometimes to find the origin of these words.
For sure.
But I did find it for this one. It comes from the word busting, as in belt busting good food, or bursting with flavor. The word originally applied only to food, but internet users have co-opted it to apply to other things that are very good or excellent.
Okay, that's very interesting. I like that.
It does say the survey that we're using the data from said that this is the slang parents hate most, this word.
Really? Does it say why?
It doesn't say why. Maybe it's just the way it sounds. Like, to me, when I hear that word, before I knew what it meant, I thought it was sexual in nature. Doesn't it seem kind of...
Oh, I guess it could be. Yeah.
Like busting a nut. I think that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly. I didn't know if I could say that, but that's exactly what I was thinking
Yeah.
of.
You can say anything on the show.
Yeah, I guess so. Compared to the other ones that you mentioned, yeah, that one could be seen as potentially crass or something like that.
Like
but
if you don't know what it means and you just hear your kid using the word a lot, you might be like, "Where did you hear that? What is that?"
But if you really think about it, it's no different than saying like, "Oh, that's cool," or that's like our slang from when we were kids.
Yeah. What is some slang from when we were kids? I mean, I know there was slang. I can't think of any though.
Yeah, it is hard to think of because now
Chill.
it's just in the. What'd you say?
Chill.
Chill, yeah,
Like Netflix and chill, or just chill out. I feel like that was big when I was a kid.
Yeah. It's tough now because it's like all the words we used are now just integrated into common everyday language. So it's hard to decipher what was, slang back in the day.
I wonder when like badass became a thing. I think that might have predated our childhood.
That might
right?
have actually. Yeah.
Well, bussin is number 7. So what do you think is said as often as bussin?
As often as bussin. Well, you said mid, and I've heard that one a lot. I feel that's going to be higher up, but I will guess mid.
Mid is outside the top 10 in the top 20.
Damn. I thought it'd be so mid is mid then is what you're telling me.
Yeah, mid is mid for sure. I don't like mid. Like it's fine. I don't know. It's just kind of that's mean.
It can be used as mean. Yeah, I guess I've only used it to describe like a movie or something I've seen that I'm like, oh, it was a mid movie. You know what I mean? Like 6 out of 10 kind of thing.
Damn, you sound so cool when you say it though.
So cool. But man, would slay even be in there anymore? That's got to be it.
Yeah, I think that's on its way out. It's not on here.
Dang. Well, I'm showing my age right now.
Okay, all right. Let me help you out. Think about rap songs. What word is used a lot in rap? I think it even originated in rap. Hip hop.
A lot of words
it's kind of like bussin'. Something's very cool, or that one's. I think that's our parents.
That's way older than us.
Yeah.
Man, you're throwing me off now. Because I was thinking like, how beige flags and stuff were things. So I was gonna be like beige flag or something like that, or red flag.
Red flag. That's a good one, but no.
Okay, but no.
The one I was going with is so we talked about the potato chips being bussin', right? So imagine you're eating some bussin'. What could you be eating? Like a milkshake. You're eating bussin' milkshake, and stuff is falling off the straw. What word would you use to describe
drip?
Drip.
There you go.
Sorry, that's a really weird way for me to get you there, but drip is on here.
I like how we got there.
Drip. Do you think if bussin' is 7, where do you think drip is?
It's got to be lower, I think. Is it 9 maybe?
10.
Okay. All right. That wasn't far
Tell
off.
me what it means.
Drip's like fashion, like how you look, accessory kind of thing.
Urban Dictionary says when something is very cool, it can also be used to describe an outfit or accessory, person or a song, etc. And although the origin of the word is debated, most people agree that it first appeared in the Atlanta rap scene. I have some examples. It says, Lies, shoes, and belt are dripping today. So drip can be, you can add the ing onto it, right? Like the
it's versatile.
Versatile, yeah.
Yeah.
Another example is Nick's shoes and belts have never dripped today or ever.
No, you're drippy. Is that how I would say it?
Maybe in other ways. Has anyone ever earnestly said that you have drip?
No, Nick. Look, no.
Well,
I'm a white
I don't know.
Canadian who usually wears sweatpants. I have never been described as dripping.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to assume anything, but no, myself has also not been described as drip.
Good.
Or having drip of any kind.
We're on the same level.
Do you know the song Drip by Cardi B?
I do. Yes. I should have caught on to that one.
I'm going to read some lyrics now from Drip by Cardi B.
Awesome. Meme this. Everyone clip this for
Here we go. Came through drippin', drip, drip. Came through drippin', drip, drip. Came through drippin', drip, drip. Diamonds on my wrist, they drippin'.
Now read WAP. Let's.
I'll read that to you when we stop recording.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Drip. What do you think of drip? You a fan?
I like drip. I think I think this one, it's been around longer than I feel like Riz or anything like that. So it was like tail end of my youth, I would say. Yeah, so I'd say I've used this one before. Ironically, obviously, because I don't think I
You're
could
a
pull
white,
it off by saying
middle-aged
it.
Canadian.
Yeah, exactly. So
Well, we're not middle-aged yet, but we're on our way.
We're pushing it. We're pushing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've heard this one and I've used it before.
Not bussin' though.
Not bussin'. I don't know if I'll ever have the the street cred to use bussin'.
I'm gonna say that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Now think about the sentence I just said. That's a safe bet.
Oh, bet. Yeah.
Bet.
That one feels older than like a recent one, I would think.
I don't hear this one that often.
Okay, interesting.
Do you?
I do. I've heard this like back when I was in college. I feel people be like bet like for anything that was like slightly a challenge.
Okay, what's it mean then?
It's like I bet you couldn't do that or something like that. It's basically like challenging you, double dog dare you to do this or whatever.
Okay. That's interesting because the Urban Dictionary definition I have says that it means I agree or good news.
Interesting. So
it'd be like bet is like an affirmation, like
we were just using it differently then.
Or maybe it has different definitions. Different definitions. I'm sure that could be true. Because the example it says is if someone says want to grab lunch later and the other person responds bet, it means they agree to the plan for lunch.
Interesting. Yes. Okay, that does make sense. So it's a versatile a word, I guess. I like it.
Yeah. It's number 2, by the way.
Wow, that is higher than I thought.
That's
that
high.
would be.
but like you said, you and I are we're late to the party on a lot of these slang words. Well, you said this one goes back a bit for you, but
in a different context.
In a different context, yeah.
Yeah, even more interesting actually. I did think of another one while we were going on. And unless you're not done with bet, we can.
No,
keep
I'm done with bet. Go ahead.
Cap.
Now I like cap.
So do I, actually.
Yeah, I like this one. It is on here. Where do you think it generally is on the list? High, low, medium?
I thought it would be like higher. Let's say 4.
You're close. It's number 5.
Okay. So it's mid.
It's mid. You'd say that's good. Well done. How would you describe the meaning of cap in this context?
Yeah, so cap's like calling your bluff, being like, I think I doubt that, or I don't think that's true.
It says here it is another word for lying. It can also be used like no cap, or you can stop capping, as in stop lying, I guess.
Yeah.
God, I sound so lame when I describe these fucking things.
That's okay. Lots of good clip sections for that.
Yeah. People can laugh at me, and if it gets me more views and listens, I'll take it. So some fun facts. Actually, these are examples on cap. He said that? Nah, man, that's cap. Another one is, Tennis Podcast is literally the best podcast I've ever heard. No cap.
No cap.
No cap. Yeah. It's not a bottle cap, Josh.
No.
Or a hat.
It's usually like the emoji is usually a hat, though, on TikTok or Instagram or something like that.
See, you're teaching me shit here.
See, this one I should have got earlier because I've used this one and I've seen it very often on TikTok.
Do you know how many fucking TikToks I've probably watched and there's a cap emoji in the description?
That's what
it's there for. And I don't even catch on to be like, oh, that's no cap.
There you go. Yeah. Now TikTok, you just unlocked a whole new section of TikTok for yourself.
Right. I need to spend less time on TikTok, actually.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. Have you ever been on TikTok so long that the lady comes on and tells you to get your ass off TikTok?
I have a time out thing for myself to keep. It never stops me, but it helps me to go like, oh, I should probably stop doing this for a little bit. I always go back to it later on, but it's
they should build that in as like a default on phones these days.
They should. Yeah. You have to get like an app and do it yourself.
That's no cap. No cap, Josh.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any others?
Slay's way too old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it though. I like Slay. There's another S word.
What's that?
There's 3 other words on here that start with S.
S. Oh man. Psych. I'm gonna sound so fucking old right now.
First of all, that starts with a P.
Oh, it does. You're right. I'm an idiot
and
too.
Secondly, I think my grandma used to say that one. So yeah, I'm not sure if we can count that.
Would salty? Would that be on there?
Salty's on here.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that one would be too old, but
I thought it was too old. This is probably the biggest surprise for me. Salty's on here. Do you have a guess on its placement?
You said it surprised you, so it's got to be higher up than I'm thinking. I'm gonna go 4 again.
4. There's nothing salty about that, Josh. You got it. Number 4.
Hey, let's go.
How do you define salty besides, salty French fries or something?
Yeah, besides the actual term. Yeah, salty's like you're upset or angry at something. Usually when you lose a game or whatever.
Yeah, that's almost exactly the definition I have. So yeah, when you're upset over something little, it says. This one I have an origin for. So it began in this usage anyway. It began in the late 1930s, originally as jump salty, which meant to unexpectedly get angry. And around 75 years later, the term became popular again as just salty.
Interesting. I have used this one many times. As someone who plays video games and gets salty.
You're the salty one.
I get pretty salty.
No.
So I need to balance out my pH or whatever it's called.
What are you playing right now that's getting you salty?
Man, you said 2 more S's. I can't even think.
Actually, real quick before we move on from salty, I have 2 examples. He got so salty after I didn't text back right away. Happens.
Yeah.
And Nick gets so salty when his listeners don't sign up for early ad-free episodes and bonus content with the free 7-day trial at tennishpod.com/plus.
He gets real salty, actually.
I get real salty.
Also, if you don't like and subscribe the episode.
Exactly. And this one's interesting. So if you remember, Bussin is the one that parents reported on the survey that they hate the most.
Okay.
Salty is the word that most parents can define. They actually know what it means without having to look it up.
You're making me feel older, Nick, because that's the one I use the most, I think.
70% of parents say they know what salty means.
Damn, so I'm fitting right in with my age group. Perfect.
Yeah. So, another S word.
I can't think of another S word, but I'm thinking of because we were talking about video games, so I'm like going off this way. NPC.
Oh, yeah, I like that one.
No, that one's not on. Damn.
I wish I could give it to you, Josh. I wish, because now I'm afraid you're going to be salty about it, but
a little bit.
I can't give it to you.
I think that one's great. Have I used that one?
Yeah, to refer to a real life person.
Well, a person online, and never like a comment. I'll just be like to my significant other, I'll be like, oh, that person's like acting like an NPC, because it'll be some stupid comment.
I'm sure your significant others love sitting next to you during your video game session.
Yeah, exactly.
Listener, they call me Dr. Buster for a reason. It's because I have a PhD in both podcasting and in psychology and in whooping Nick's ass up and down every 10-ish list. I love to read books dealing with psychology as part of my profession and keeping up with the cutting edge in the field. That's why I've launched a new mini podcast called The Book Buster. That podcast is where I provide quick reviews of the latest psychology and self-help books. Just like The Moral Landscape by Sam Harris or Dopamine Nation by Anna Lemke. Each episode provides a review in less than 10 minutes, and I share what I'll be checking out next so that you, listener, can get involved and read that book and experience it before I cover it on the next episode. I hope you'll check it out, and who knows, you might just find your next great read. The Book Buster releases on the 3rd Friday of every month exclusively for 10ish Pod Plus members. Go to 10ishpod, that's 10ishpod.com/plus to get a free 7-day trial. They told me there was nothing free in this life. They were lying.
All right, I do want you to give me more hints because they are usually interesting. I want to see where you go with these hints.
Okay, so actually I said salty surprised me most. I take it back. This one surprised me most because this is a word I use probably almost every day. I wouldn't have called it slang before this. And I also feel like it's been around my whole life, at least. It's a expression when you're impressed or amazed by something. Starts with an S.
Sweet?
No.
Sick?
No. That's a good one.
Oh, damn. Impressed by something.
or maybe just even like a term of like exhaustion, almost like.
Sigh?
Whew. All right, I'll tell you. It's sheesh, as in
Sheesh.
sheesh. Yes,
I would
that
have
doesn't
never
belong
guessed.
on here, right?
I would have never guessed that one.
No.
Damn. This one's the first
Yeah.
one you stumped me on. I actually truly don't. I've never heard it outside of like, how you're describing it.
Yeah, I said I use it every day. That's it. I'm overstating it, but I definitely use it sometimes when I'm like, sheesh, I can't believe that, or sheesh, that's enough, or sheesh.
Right.
I wouldn't have guessed it in a million years on a slang list like this. The example I have is, sheesh, that's a lot of booty.
I'm shocked I haven't used that before.
You never used it that way? Okay. There you go. Put it in your slang
My
toolbox.
vocabulary. Great. Another slang term that I could annoy my significant other with.
This whole episode, I feel like we're just coming up with ways to annoy your significant other. Your significant other.
Mine specifically, yes. And the Gen Z that are listening to this being like, shit, we can't use those words anymore.
Because those two old white Canadian Americans are using it on this podcast.
Yeah, they're ruining it.
It is true. I remember being like a high school age kid and thinking my parents were so fucking lame.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they were. They were.
Yeah.
But it's funny how as you get older, and I have kids, you don't, but even without kids, as you age, you start to notice yourself becoming lamer and lamer, right?
Yeah, you settle into it.
Yeah, it just happens. You just wake up one day and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm lame.
Hell yeah. And then you just
And it
accept
happens
it.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's sheesh. I don't know if I told you the number, but it's number 9.
I mean, I'm surprised it's not out of the list, but number 9
too.
sounds about right for where it is.
To do a quick recap, you got that at 9. Drip is number 10. You're missing 8. 7 is bussin'. You're missing 6. 5 is cap. 4 is salty. You're missing 3. 2 is bet. And you're missing 1.
Okay. Based off the vibe of this episode, I'm going to go with cringe. Is that on here?
I don't know what you mean by that, the vibe of this episode. I'm confused. But as to your guess, cringe, I also would have guessed to be in the top 10, but it is not in the top 10. It's in the top 20.
I
think that one's on its way out too, unfortunately.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess we did use it as well.
Let me give you a hint. So I read some Cardi B lyrics for Drip. There is another, I assume it's popular, rap song or hip hop song with this slang word as its title.
Oh man, you're assuming a lot of me listening to it.
I don't know the song. I just looked it up online and found the lyrics. But
okay, is it a recent song? Can you tell me the artist? Actually, that might help me.
Lil Durk.
Lil Durk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out of my league here, Nick.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I know you know this word. It starts with a B. It's used to describe someone as high class.
Bougie.
Bougie.
Bad and bougie. Would that be the song?
The song is just called Bougie.
Okay. All right. I think I do.
What do you
know
think
the
of
song.
bougie?
I mean, the original context is like rich, upper class kind of thing.
Do you use the word bougie in your everyday vocabulary?
I would say I have used it. I don't know if I'm using it in the way that the slang is.
The slang is to describe someone as high class.
Okay, then I guess I am technically.
Yeah. And so the example is she's so bougie with that Louis Vuitton bag.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I will now recite in the widest man voice possible the lyrics from the song Bougie by Lil Durk. Count that cash while my little bitch bounce her ass. Bounce that ass. Richard Mill cost $150. That's your stash. That's your stash. Poppin' shit on Instagram. That's your past. When we catch you out in traffic, just don't crash. I think I'm bougie. Mike, Marie jeans cost me 2 G's. I can't take her to the crib. Go get some room keys. Ooh, I think I'm bougie.
That was well done.
Thank
well
you.
done. Well done.
I just thought it would help the listeners, kind of get in the headspace of using the word bougie.
You might have a lawsuit on your hand because that was so good.
Oh,
Would you say Lil Durk? Was that his name?
Lil Durk.
He might come
Listener
after
of the show.
That was
Lil
great.
Durk, don't come after me. Count that cash while my little bitch bounce her ass. Bounce that ass.
Bounce that ass.
Song of our generation.
Yes.
So that was Baujee. Let's go to 6 next. This one I hear a lot. It's to describe someone being over the top, excessive, or dramatic.
Or dramatic. Being a lot.
If you have a lot of something, you might have what? You might have more than you need. You
An
might
abundance.
Yes, you got it, Josh. The slang is an abundance.
You're lying to me.
I am lying to you. Correct.
Oh, man.
Starts with an E.
Extra?
Extra. Come on.
Okay.
You got too much of something, it's extra.
It's extra.
If
You're
you're
right.
being over the top, you're being extra.
Got it.
Damn. Get your head in the game.
I made it there eventually.
I mean, barely.
Slowly.
This one's number 6. The examples I have are, you don't have to be so extra about it. And Alex John's Sidekick Host on the show, his hate of boomers is so extra.
Okay.
But who can blame him?
Yeah, that's fair.
So extra. I like extra. How do you feel about extra?
Extra's good. I actually have used this one. I have used it feels like this one's a little bit older. So it kind of was in, my zeitgeist when I was younger.
You know how, because the internet now, with things like cultural slang and, things like that, it ages so quickly.
Yes.
Right?
That's true.
Like, think of the memes that we were hysterically laughing at in 2019.
Yeah. Or
And
even
now
the
if we saw
pandemic,
that-
2020.
Right. And now those same memes are like, oh, I'm so sick of seeing that meme.
Yeah.
It's, my parents were using that meme back in that. It's like, it's just funny how that happens, how quick it happens. Because extra as a slang in this context has not been around that long.
No.
But in internet years, it's been around forever.
For
right?
decades. It's old.
Generations.
Yeah, I think that's to do with TikTok and like social media in general just being constantly around us. And it's like you can only use a term so often before you are like, all right, I'm tired of this trend or meme or whatever it happens to be.
Well, and in the case of slang, sometimes it's just so integrated into your vocabulary, depending on who you are, that you say it so much that now you're sick of saying it.
Yeah. Or even that it just becomes part of the nomenclature, like the regular. Sure. So it's no longer slang, I guess, would be the way to describe that. So
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
So that's extra, and you just have number 3 and 1 left.
Is there one more S left?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know if I have guessed this one, but is sus on there?
Sus. Yes. Is it number 1 or 3?
I don't feel it should be number 1. I'm going to go 3.
Well, I feel you are wrong because sus is number 1.
Okay. Interesting.
And I'll tell you this. I don't have teenagers, but I do have 2 kids, 7 and 10.
Yeah.
And other than bruh or bro, I think sus is the slang I hear most often from them.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
I'm just out of touch then.
Now, it could be on its way out because maybe the teenage age kids have moved on to other shit.
Right.
At least elementary age, my kids, they love this one.
They're loving it.
Is number 1. It gives the impression that something is questionable or dishonest or suspicious. Do you know where this term gained popularity?
Gained popularity? Oh,
Do you know the origin of it?
The origin would be suspicion, I would imagine.
Well, yeah. Okay. Origin may be the wrong word. Do you know it's from the game Among Us. Have you played Among Us?
Oh, yeah. I'm stupid. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly where it came from. Yeah.
Yes, you're stupid. Mm-hmm.
That was COVID trend that
yes.
feels like so long ago, but it was 4 years ago.
Yeah. It started 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We were still in it less than 4 years ago. But the term gained popularity thanks to that game. And today, about 62% of teenagers use the word sus to call out questionable behavior or suggest one has a devious motive.
Wow.
Going back to that parent survey, bussin' is the slang they hate most. Salty is the slang most say they know what it means. And sus is the slang that parents say they most often use themselves.
Interesting. I cannot say the same for that one for me.
You don't like sus? You don't use it?
I don't know. For me, it's concerning to me that a generation is using the word suspect so often because they don't trust anything they see or hear.
Well, honestly, it's evolved to the point of like,
I just don't believe you kind of thing.
Right.
cap.
It's like it's lost its true meaning.
True.
It doesn't just mean suspicious anymore. It just means like that's sus. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
Or that sort of thing.
Fair enough.
Kids are dumb. Kids are idiots.
Smarter than we give them credit for. I feel sometimes.
Nah. They're fucking.
Fair enough. You're around them more. Maybe you're right.
Yeah. Oh, they suck. Oh God. So you just need number 3. I don't use this one myself. I've heard it from time to time. I'm gonna just turn you loose if you let me see what you got, and if you struggle, I'll start to give you hints.
Okay. Because I got a couple more here. We use this one on the show. Goat, greatest of all time.
It's a good one. No.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like it better than this, but no.
Okay. Yeah, we did NPC. Yeet.
Would you say Yeet?
Yeet.
I'm surprised you guessed it so quick. It's the Yeet.
Is it
Number
Yeet?
3 is Yeet.
I thought
Yes.
that one was way older, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think of that one like back when Dab was a thing. You know what I mean? Like 2017.
It actually goes before that. It says it was coined by a Vine user. Remember Vine?
Oh, yeah.
The
The predecessor to TikTok.
Yes.
Yeah.
The user there named David Bana, he uploaded a Vine in 2014 in which he throws a CD and yells out, Yeet! That's it.
I had no idea that's where it came from. So that's cool.
The funny thing too about something like that is same with memes. I talked about this with John on the meme episode we did.
Yeah.
But you can do something like coin the phrase yeet in a Vine, and guess what? It's now number 3 on this list. It's used by millions of people. It's in movies and TV shows and music, and you don't get a penny.
Yeah. Very few
what I
people
mean?
know who you are or anything like that. Yeah. And back then, Vine probably was not paying anyone.
No. It's just interesting. Like you have no ownership of that word.
Yeah.
Or that trend.
100%. It sucks. I mean, I don't know how you would combat that, but
I don't know. I don't think you can.
it sucks for those people that do create this trend. I guess as an artist, quote unquote, you're like, oh, my art's out in the world now.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like this quote unquote contract we have with the internet, the social contract with the internet.
Yeah.
It's like you put it on the internet, at least on a social networking site or any like user generated content site. It's no longer yours.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
This goes back to, I mentioned John in the memes episode. We did the top 10 most popular memes. And we talked about the same thing, how the people in these, do you know the meme of the jealous boyfriend where he's looking over his shoulder?
Yeah.
He's walking with his girlfriend. That's a classic, right? Those models in that image were just at a stock photo session. They probably got $200 for that day.
Yep.
And they are not getting any money on any usage of that meme today. I'm not even saying they should. I don't know what the right answer is. But like, it's just interesting. Like they're getting no money from the billions of time that meme has been used. They're not famous, those people.
Oh.
Nobody knows their names. They're not on talk shows. They're not getting big contracts for endorsement deals. I don't know. I don't know what my point is other than it's just interesting how that works.
Yeah, it is interesting that they were just actors for a day or something like that, did some photos. No one knows who the photographer is. If you see that guy on the street, you're probably not going to recognize him. And if you do, you're like, oh, that's the cheating boyfriend guy, which is not a great, moniker to wear.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny, like more people have seen that photo and know those two models. You might not recognize him in the wild based on what he's wearing or whatever, but you know that face, him and the women in the photo. More people could recognize those people than could recognize, like, in America, could recognize the Prime Minister of Canada. You know what I mean?
Probably true. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's an infraction against America. But my point is, like, those people are so famous and so not famous at the same time.
Yeah. When those memes were popular, that's all you saw on the internet. Every time you went on to, Reddit, Vine at the time, or anything else, like that's all you saw was this couple. And so, yeah, it's ingrained in your mind what they look like, which is crazy to think.
It is. It just fascinates me. But anyway, you got Yeet. That was number 3. An example is to yeet me that water bottle.
I have used this one, and probably for that exact purpose as well.
Yeet me that water bottle, bro. Yeah. I think it's all right. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just there.
Yeah. It's a fun word, at least.
Yeah. I mean? I'll give you that.
Saying
I think the
yeet.
funnest word on here is bougie.
Bougie is fun. Yeah. Yeah. I feel co-opted French words are fun to say.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're taking it
co-opting
back
French.
from them.
We love co-opting Co-opting is a generous term in some cases. We love co-opting things from other cultures.
I would say, yeah, most slang is probably co-opted from like some sort of minority, and
the whole fucking English language is co-opted.
True, 100%.
Brother.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
hey,
wild.
Let's call it like it is. All right, let's go back through that top 10. And when we're done, I have a little bonus mini list that I'm not going to make you guess, but I'll tell you. So the top 10 most used slang among teenagers in America today. Number 10 is drip. Number 9 is sheesh. That one doesn't belong on
No, I hate that one so much.
Number 8 is bougie. And as Lil Durk might say, count that cash while my little bitch bounce her ass. Ooh, I think I'm bougie. Number 7 is bussin'. First one you got today.
Yeah, good one. Good one.
Number 6 is extra. You're being so extra. Number 5, no cap here because it's cap.
No cap.
And now I know.
Yeah.
I see the cap emoji. Number 4 is salty. Number 3 is yeet.
Yeet.
Number 2 is bet. And number 1 is sus.
All right. That's a pretty comprehensive list. Like I said, the only one I don't agree with is maybe sheesh.
I agree. And I think there's some missing. Like I think mid might belong on here.
Yeah.
I think cringe might belong on here.
Just based on how often I hear those words, even on like TikTok or something like that. Like it feels like it's used maybe more it's used in like comments or like captions of things than it is actually used in the wild of real life.
It's a beautiful segue to my bonus mini list. You are on Reddit a lot for your show. You're also on TikTok and everything else, but this is definitely prominent on Reddit. I'm going to tell you the top 10 internet slang. So these are things like AITA. Am I the asshole? So I won't make you guess them all, but do any come to mind real quick? Just 2 or 3. Like what are little things? If you know is another one. IYKYK.
Oh yeah, that's actually one that I probably would have used because I see that one all the time. I'm just going through like the comments we get. I'm trying to think of any.
All right, well, let me read you some of these. So these are the top 10 internet slang used today. Number 10 is LMK. Let me know.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 9 is if you know, IYKYK.
Harder one to say, but
yeah, that's what you were saying about a few minutes ago. Like people use these online in comments and shit, but they don't say them out loud.
Yeah, it's like LOL. Right? You almost never say that out loud.
Yeah, I did know someone that used to say that.
Yeah, so did I actually,
and I hurt them. Number 8. I'm just gonna move on.
Moving on.
I did not hurt them. They're fine. Number 8 is IRL.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In real life. Number 7 is IMO or IMHO.
In my opinion, yeah.
Number 6 is G2G or GTG.
Got to go.
Got to go.
These are like older ones.
Or actually, some of these are good. I think it's good to go.
Good to go. Okay.
Or got to go. I don't know.
Same kind of thing.
5 is FYI. That's old.
That is old. These are, I feel a couple of these are like, yeah, you could have seen these back in like early 2000s on text messages.
Not this one. DM.
True. Yeah, that one's
as in slide into my DMs.
Yeah.
Number 3, this one's old. Actually, the next 3 are all really old. But common, because you use these even in like text messages. 3 is BTW.
Yeah.
By the way. Not to be confused with BBW, which I won't say what that is. 2 is BRB.
I thought BBW was number 2 for some. I thought that's what you went into. I was that is wild that that's number 2.
No. And anyone out there, the few that don't know what BBW stands for, you can look it up on your show. 2 is BRB, as in use an incognito tag.
Yeah, yeah.
2 is BRB for be right back, and number 1 BC for because.
Okay, I'm shocked LOL isn't on there because I still see that all the time.
Or LMAO.
Or LMAO, or even haha, which I guess is not a slang. Yeah.
Just the way you said that.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And my last little thing that I have for you today is lost American slang words. I just have 5. These are words that are no longer in the lexicon. And as Walt Whitman poetically observed in 1885 in his defense of American slang, he wrote, "Slang is the wholesome fermentation or eructation of those processes eternally active in language by which froth and specks are thrown up." Give me a fucking break, Walt. Just talk normal. Mostly to pass away, though occasionally to settle and permanently crystallize. So his point there...
I don't know what the fuck Walt was saying there.
You get fuck off. I mean, but he was... What my interpretation is, slang is important. Most of it comes and goes, but every once in a while, one sticks around.
Okay.
Kind of like those internet ones, like BRB has been around since the AOL days.
Or even like cool. That's been like since like the 70s or 60s, whatever you would say.
Maybe longer, yeah.
Maybe
been
longer.
Around forever.
Yeah.
So these are some that did not stick around from long ago. The first one I have on here from the 1870s is Moll Buzzer.
Moll Buzzer.
M-O-L-L buzzer. It is to describe a criminal, especially a pickpocket, or a pickpocket's accomplice who preys on women.
Okay. Tough one to use in everyday language.
I would agree.
I do like mall, though. That sounds cool. Like if you could use that as a slang.
But I wonder where buzzer comes in. Moll Buzzer?
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Tell me if you use this one. Dingus.
I have actually used that.
Yes. I do hear that sometimes. It's from the 1890s. It is a nebulous, unspecified object. In other words, you could refer to anything as a dingus. Give me that dingus over there.
Someone being dumb or, you know.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Just three more for you. This one is Spizzerinctum. Your face says it all. Spizzerinctum, and it's not jizz. It's from the 1920s. It's to describe high spirits or nerve.
Wild. That it's just too close to like spizzerectum or something like that, where it's just like this.
Spizzerectum.
This could be terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wouldn't have voted for that one.
No, it's off my list.
The last two are woofy, which is kind of a cute little one.
I like that.
It's from the 1920s. It means it's a nonsense word that could be kind of like dingus. It can be used to describe anything.
Oh, I've heard people say like woof or something like that. Like
to
be,
like to be mean about
usually
appearance or something.
To downgrade or downplay someone or whatever it is with the word I'm trying to think of. But I
know what you're trying to say. Yeah,
Thank you.
I've heard that too. And the last one is bazoo. Which is a 1940s slang word for the mouth.
I don't love it for that description, but I like the word.
Bazoo. Yeah, I like it. It sounds like a game, like a kid's game.
Yeah. Like kazoo or something like that. It's
right. Or it sounds like a children's like mascot. Kind of like Barney, but bazoo, right?
Something like that, or Teletubbies or whatever characters. Yeah.
Teletubbies. choose your children's mascot.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. All right, Josh. Well, I'm finally done. What do you think of this episode today?
It was anything but mid, no cap.
Thank you.
I'm bussing.
No,
I'm losing. I don't know how to go anywhere, but
I'm about to yeet you off of this episode.
There we go. That's a good one.
But I don't want to end this episode without you telling folks more about your show, Reddit on Wiki.
Yeah. So Reddit on Wiki is a podcast where we, obviously, as Nick implied, we go onto subreddits. Mondays, we do almost any subreddit and we read them, react to them with myself and my two co-hosts, John and Sean. And then on Fridays, we do Am I the Asshole stories, where we judge whether people are assholes based on what they have done in the story. So
they usually are.
Most of the time, I will say that. There's usually an asshole that gets us upset for sure.
Yeah. I hope everyone will listen to Reddit on Wiki. I've been on the show once in the past. I don't know what episode number that was, but
it's been a while. We got to get you back on, actually.
Hey.
Maybe when I get married, we'll have you on to replace me for some of those.
Deal.
That'd be cool.
Fucking deal. All right. Well, I will also put a link in the show notes to Reddit on Wiki. They have a great TikTok and YouTube channel as well. Josh, I had a hell of a time, bub. I hope you'll be back.
Yeah. I mean, thank you for making me feel older than I've felt in a while. I just turned 30 2 months ago. So this has made me feel 30 officially now.
30, but still plenty of drip. You're one of the most extra sidekick hosts I've had on the show. So thank you.
Perfect. I love that description. Thank you very much, Nick. It was a pleasure being on. Loved being on and learning the slang of the youth.
The slang of the youth. And listener, I hope you enjoyed it too. Let me know what you thought of today's episode. You can rate and review us on your favorite podcast app. You can also hit me up on social media at TennishPod. I'll be back next week with episode 268. And if you want to listen to that episode early and ad-free, just go to tennishpod.com/plus to sign up for our Patreon. Josh, thanks again. And to everyone, thank you. Goodbye.